Hello, and welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley. For the next hour here on Verbling, we will be learning English vocabulary related to injury, wounds, pain. All of us have suffered minor injuries from time to time. And today we'll be learning specific nouns related to different types of injury, as well as some common phrasing, some chunking of verbs and object nouns, and even adjectives, common phrases that we use when we're describing injuries or talking about them. Students will take turns doing a number of different types of exercises, mix and match, fill in the blank. And as we proceed through the material, we will have a little conversation and discussion to help us clarify the meaning and usage of all this vocabulary. Plenty to learn today and plenty of material to look at. So please join me, plenty of room in the class. Pardon me. And okay, please join me and we'll get started talking about and learning vocabulary related to injury. All right. Hello, Carlos. How are you today?
Hey, hello, teacher. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Great. Thanks for joining. And okay. And looks like Heidi's here as well. Hello, Heidi. Hi, Heidi. How are you?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Likewise. How are you doing today?
Today, Japanese stock rose up suddenly. Maybe Chinese stock market is stable now.
Maybe. And that's maybe
Only
with
today.
we have today. Stable today. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Maybe with a capital M. Okay. All right. I'm going to share some material and we'll get started here. Learning vocabulary related to injury. Okay. Now this first part, I just would like you to read this sentence, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. Just to kind of introduce some of the vocabulary and see how it's used. All right, Carlos, number one.
There was blood all over the place.
All right, blood all over the place. Why would somebody say this? In what situation?
Mm, in a bleeding.
Yeah. Okay, well, like specific example. What
For
might,
example, if
yeah.
you use a knife and when you are slicing a vegetable and you cut your finger.
Oh, I was gonna say. I thought for a second you were gonna say the vegetable was bleeding. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Anytime somebody cuts themselves, or maybe in a car accident, or probably a bad cut. Yeah, somebody might bleed a lot. Okay. Heidi, number two.
Do you breathe easily? Oh, yeah. It's very good because breathing that means to clean up the bacteria. They protect our body from bacteria. Then I
That's
can
true.
my blood congeals easily. So it's
Okay.
but some people have some illness. It's very difficult to congeal their blood.
That's right. Do you know what that's called?
I know. I don't know.
It's hemophilia.
Hemophilia.
Yeah,
Oh.
let me Let me struggle trying to spell that for you. Just a second. I have a hard time spelling medical terms, as do most native English speakers, honestly. We don't know this unless we're doctors. So, yeah, a hemophiliac, the person is a hemophiliac, would, yeah, it's a special disease where they keep bleeding, their blood doesn't clot, is the word.
Yeah, so important thing is not bleeding, but congeals easily.
That's right. To congeal, normally in English we say, oh, your blood clots is the verb we use. It's same meaning. Congeal is exactly correct. That is the action that happens. But in relation to blood, you might say, does your blood clot easily? Is kind of the other side of this question. Do you bleed easily? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you just said, myself, my blood clots really fast, which is
Do you want to
good.
remove the clot?
No, it stops the bleeding, so you don't
Yeah,
bleed to
but
death.
it passed while it became very hard. Then under the clot is a little itchy.
That's true. And clotting of blood can be a bad thing if it's inside your body, if it's internal. If it's an outside wound, then you want it to clot, obviously, so you don't keep bleeding. But if you have a clot inside your body, that's bad. That means the blood can't pass through. It gets stuck inside your body. So, yeah, that can be a bad thing, actually. Okay, very good. All right, a couple others have joined us, so let me welcome Francisco. Hey, hey, how are you? Hi. And Juan Pablo is back with us. Hey, Juan Pablo, how are you?
How are you? This is Juan Pablo.
What's that?
I'm recently joined to the class. To be honest, I don't know what you are speaking.
Okay, well, I'm speaking. Watch the S speaking. I'm speaking English, of course, and we're learning some vocabulary related to injury today. So, hang on, Juan Pablo. Pablo, I'll talk to you in just a moment. In the meantime, Francisco, just number 3.
Okay, number
Just
3.
read it, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The operation only left a small scar.
Okay, 2 key vocabulary words here. What is an operation? Or do you know another word for operation? Operation.
Maybe intervention.
That's quite something different. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the word surgery.
Yeah, surgery. Yeah.
Or operation. Surgery, a little bit more formal. Operation's a little less formal. But basically, they're the same exact thing. An intervention would be something completely different. For English speakers, an intervention is when your friend's a drug addict and everybody meets with him and tries to convince him to go to some kind of a clinic, you know, to quit taking drugs, something like that. It's something totally different. Kind of medically related, but we wouldn't use it to talk about in operation. Okay, the other keyword here is a scar, small scar. Do you have any scars?
No.
Oh, come on. It's impossible not have any scars. Like, unless you're like 3 days old. What's that?
I only have some scars on my legs.
Okay, well, there you go. Yes, my goodness, I have 2 daughters, 3 and 4 years old, and they have scars already, of course. Any, you know, burns, small, even the smallest wound can leave a small scar on your body. That's a small white mark where it heals up. And some scars will disappear over time, and some scars you'll have for the rest of your life. Yeah. Okay. Scar is what's left over from the healing process, a white mark on the skin. Okay. Juan Pablo, number 4, please.
Okay. The bruise will disappear in a few days.
Okay. What causes a bruise?
Is a violet signal in the skin.
Okay. Yes, discoloration of the skin. What causes it? What might cause you to have a bruise? For example, just as an example.
Bruise can be appear when you let me think. uh, when no, I don't know how to explain.
Okay,
Sorry.
just any random example. If somebody punches you, or somebody hits you, or you hit your knee on the car door, or somebody hits you in the head with a baseball bat, it's probably going to leave a bruise. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
right.
All right. It's a blunt object, not a sharp object like a knife, but a blunt object hits your body with some force. It will cause a bruise. That's discoloration. It's basically what it is bleeding under your skin, and that causes maybe perhaps a black and blue mark. Oh, your arm is all black and blue. What happened to you? This is common in English. We refer to a bruise. We talk about bruises as black and blue. Why is your hand all black and blue? That's what happened. Okay, so that's a bruise. Doctors might refer to bruising. You might hear this in the doctor's office, for example, as a contusion. He has a contusion on his lower forearm, like that. Right. Okay. Moving along. Sam, how are you today? Welcome to the class.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Fine.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Great.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, the next one, we'll kind of skip that because it's kind of obvious. Are you in pain? All right.
Mhm.
Do you hurt? That's fairly obvious.
Mhm.
That's a direct question. Are you experiencing pain? All right. Pain, hurt.
Mhm.
All right. So let's move on to number 6, Sam.
Okay. Look where the cat scratched me.
Okay. Have you ever had a cat scratch you?
No.
No? Never?
I
Really?
never heard cat scratched me, no.
Okay.
Mhm.
All
But
right.
I know physically that some when I was a child at that time, a baby cat, how we can say that?
Kitten.
Yes, kitten. And whenever I uh, took taken on my how we say them hand, and they always try to scratch my how we
Mm-hmm.
say the hands or sometime in how we say that my fingers.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So a scratch is a very shallow cut, kind of a surface cut on the skin. You can be scratched by other things, like plants. Have you
Mm-hmm.
ever, like roses have thorns. If you
Mm-hmm.
grab a rose really fast, you might scratch your finger on the rose. Um, Scratch, okay, can be an injury. A scratch, I've got a scratch on my finger.
Mm-hmm.
But how about as a noun? Okay, it's an injury. How about as a verb? Uh, to scratch.
Okay.
Why would you scratch your elbow? You scratch your elbow.
When we wash our hands, and especially uh, uh, sometime our elbows, how we say uh, when we scratch our nails and remove, yes, at that time we scratch our elbows, how we say that, yes, elbows, and sometime like that.
Okay. Well, I wash my hands like this. But for
Yes,
example, I got bit by a mosquito last night while I was sleeping.
yeah,
Darn
yeah.
mosquitoes. It
Mhm.
itches, so I
Yeah.
scratch it. I
Okay.
use my claws, like the cat, and I scratch
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
All
For
right.
for men, we also say this scraw, craw or scraw. CREW. Like that? Craw or like that? Which one is right? No, no, no,
Craw,
no.
craw.
Because you shape your fingers like that.
Oh, claw.
Huh?
Thank you,
Yeah, yeah,
Carlos.
yeah. Claw,
Yeah.
claw.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Claws. Yeah. Okay. You can form your hand into a claw, or animals. Their fingernails of an
Uh-huh.
animal we refer to commonly as claws.
Mhm.
So yeah, you would say a cat, meow meow. A kitten scratches you.
Mhm.
Meow.
Yeah.
But a lion claws you. Where's my hand? Okay.
Yes. Yes, you can take
Much more.
loin in your hand. It's not possible.
Much more extreme. To claw is
Mhm.
much more extreme than to scratch. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
All right. And you scratch an itch when it's a verb, and that's to relieve yourself, uh,
Yeah.
relieve the itching.
Mhm. So,
Uh,
okay, I have a
okay.
question. So,
Uh,
how
sure.
can I use like that? Look where the cat scratch me. Uh, how we can use in everyday life? The same way? How we can use?
Well, yeah, I would point to the actual wound where the
Mhm.
cat used his claws, and I would
Mhm.
point to it and say, "Hey, look where the cat scratched me."
Mhm.
Okay, just to show my injury. Um,
Uh-huh.
or
Okay.
again, you can be scratched by. I scratched up my legs walking through the field. There were some nettles, some plants with sharp thorns or burrs on them.
Mhm.
Or I scratched my elbow on the
Mhm.
car door this morning.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Okay.
To talk about
Okay.
an injury.
Mhm.
Or
Okay.
as the verb, it'd be very common to say, "Oh my God, I can't reach it. Can you scratch my back? Right in the middle of my back. No, right there. A little to the left. A little up, up, up. Just so. Oh yeah, that's it." Okay. This in normal everyday life
Mhm.
would be very common.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
You, you
Thanks.
might you might have seen some of you might have seen this silly little kind of novelty item. It's a long stick with what appears to be a little hand at the end of the
Mhm.
stick. It's called
Yes.
a back scratcher. You can use it to scratch your own back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
Especially in summer season.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. All right. Carlos, number 7.
His injuries are all fairly minor.
Very good. Minor. All right. The thing that needs to be pointed out here, injuries, the adjective that collocates with the word injuries, minor and major. Um, well, we really don't have any medium in the middle kind of adjective. We might say somewhat major, somewhat minor, something like that. Yeah, fairly minor. Okay. We might use some other adverb to modify minor or major, but the point is minor injury, major injury are usually the adjectives that we use to talk about degree. Um, okay. Uh, what would for example, Carlos, what might a example of a minor injury and a major injury be? What would be a
uh,
minor injury?
a minor injury what would be a pull muscle.
Okay. Yep, that's a good one. All right,
or
very good.
or a twist.
Yes.
How do you say? Uh, Twist wrist. How do you say it?
Okay. Yes, you can say twist, actually, or a very common verb, he sprained his wrist.
Okay.
Or wrists are famous for this. Well, you know, it's very normal to sprain your wrist or your ankle.
Sprain. Okay.
Wrists and ankles get sprained. Well, there, okay. Now, all right, a good example because in that there are minor sprains. Oh, I sprained my ankle just a little bit. It's a minor sprain of my wrist. Or there are major sprains, really bad, where you really can't walk, for example. You can't even walk. That would be a major sprain. So there you go. We actually use minor and major with specific types of injuries as well. A minor cut, a major cut. Okay, so yeah.
I have another one. A broken leg when you
That
broke your lost
that
bone.
that would be major. No
Yes.
question.
Yes. Yes.
Any broken bones are considered a major injury. That's right. Okay, absolutely. Okay, Heidi, number 8.
This wound was caused by a flying blast.
Okay,
Mm.
we're gonna definitely talk about wound and injury a lot more. So a little bit later in the class. So we're not gonna you know I'm going to show you many more examples because it's a little confusing what we say is a wound and what's an injury. What kind of wound would somebody get from flying glass?
Cut the skin.
Yeah, lots of cuts. The most basic verb is cut. More kind of doctor.
The end of World War II, my grandparents were living in Hiroshima city, very close to the center. My grandfather went to the job place at first, but he remembered, oh, I forgot my hat. He came back to the house just that time. The nuclear bomb exploded.
Oh my.
They felt strong flashlight, but luckily my grandfather was inside the house, and many glass the window exploded.
Yes.
Many people wounded by the flying glass.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My grandparents' house had no glass. It was only paper and wood. All the style of my house. So they didn't have any wound and no band. If he was outside, maybe he had wounded, not banned immediately.
Okay, maybe he would have been wounded.
He would have, wounded.
Yeah, when we talk about a hypothetical or imaginary situation in the past, would have been, would have, yeah.
If he had been outside, he would have banned immediately, disappeared.
Okay. That was a very good example of the third conditional. That's a conditional sentence talking about a hypothetical in the past. So quite sophisticated English. Good job. Okay.
They ran away from Hiroshima immediately, and they
good idea.
Reached in my hometown. So I'm alive now.
And thus Heidi was born unto the world. Okay. Well, that's a very interesting story. And of course, just a couple points. Flying glass is actually what hurts most people in things like explosions or earthquakes and when a meteorite blasts, things of that nature. You really need to be careful in emergencies of this type, man-made or otherwise, of flying glass and protect yourself from flying glass. Okay, cut, of course, is the normal wound we're talking about here. If you go to the doctors, he would most likely refer to it as a laceration. Laceration. The doctor would say, oh, he has a laceration on his upper thigh. A cut. Okay. Oh, somebody came and went. Come on back. Don't be shy. In the meantime, Francisco, number 9.
Okay, number 9. My ankle is very swollen.
Okay. Ankle, of course, is above the foot. Swollen. What does that mean? What happened to his ankle?
Well, it's swollen. Is yeah, maybe he sprained or
Maybe he sprained it. Mm-hmm.
his
That's right. Likely he sprained his ankle. So what is the condition of the ankle now? What physically happened to the ankle itself? What does that mean, swollen?
swollen. Well, it becomes greater the area
Well, it gets bigger.
yeah, it's
It gets bigger and fat. Yeah, it swells up. It gets much bigger. Francisco, if I say my boss has a swelled head, what does that mean?
as well.
Swelled head. Okay, I'll write it in the Verbling chat box. My boss has a swelled head. No idea? It's totally idiomatic. It has nothing to do with physical pain. Do you know, if I say it another way, my boss has a big head.
Okay.
All right.
Well, physically a big head, or
no. If somebody has a big head or a swollen head, or sometimes colloquially we say swelled head, he's got a swollen head. It means that they have a big ego. They think they're the best and the greatest. They're very. He thinks his skill is far superior, and he's a superior human being to everyone else, like that. Okay, very egotistical. So, of course, the verb is swell. The adjective is what we see here. Swollen is the adjective.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. There we go. Diego has joined us. Hi, Diego. So you managed to connect. That's great. Hello? Well, maybe you managed to connect. Diego, I cannot hear you, just so you know. I can see you. I can see that you unmuted yourself, but I cannot hear you as of now. Keep trying, okay? I'll come back to you in a bit. In the meantime, Juan Pablo, number 10.
Okay. I've got a horrible blister on my foot.
Ah, okay. Sorry to hear that. Okay, Juan Pablo, how would you get a blister on your foot?
When we are working many time, the foot can be blister.
Okay, you can't work many. Work is uncountable. Okay, so you work a lot or you work too much. We use much with uncountable nouns. Many with things we can count. Many cats. Hi, Diego. Okay, I can hear you now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, affirmative. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk.
I'm new on this. My English is very poor, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, hang in there. I'll talk to you in just a little bit. Okay. I hear you loud and clear, so no worries. I'm going to talk to a couple other students and then I'll talk to you. Okay. Anyway, Juan Pablo, yeah, all right, fine. You work a lot, or maybe you go hiking with new shoes. When people get blisters on their feet when they wear new shoes, um, or burns. You get a blister if you have a severe burn. Well, second degree burn causes blisters on your skin. The liquid gets trapped under your skin, and that's a blister. All right. We've actually pretty well covered sprain wrist, sprain ankle, so I'm going to skip that one for now. Next one, Sam, number 12.
Okay. Be careful, or that wasp will sting you.
Okie doke. Well, what's a wasp, first of all?
Yes, wasp is an insect,
Insect,
and
yeah.
yeah, and it's especially in summer season they are very active,
Very
and they
active.
try to, yes, very active as compared to the winter, and they try to sting everyone.
Yeah, it's kind of a bee, or maybe if it's not actually a bee, it's looks like a
No,
bee.
yes, it's not a bee, it's a wasp. It's another insect, and they are, but it's useful for our pollination as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
and
think
the
it
color.
belongs to the
Mhm.
larger bee family, but maybe it's not exactly a bee.
Hmm.
I'm not sure,
Yes,
honestly.
because they can, well, bees can make honey,
Hmm.
but wasp not.
Okay,
They just live in a nest. How we say that?
exactly.
And yeah, but they can't.
Hmm.
I never,
Okay.
yes, I never see. But but their sting is very painful,
Hmm.
and especially some people are very sensitive, and sometimes this happen. They become sick, or maybe they have vomiting like that, and it's very very painful until until when you remove the uh, how we say that,
Yeah.
use something medication, then you can get relief, but otherwise not.
Yes. On the end of their body, they have a barb, or more casually, stinger that they basically stab you with. Okay. All right. So any animal with a barb or stinger can sting you. Now, like a mosquito, I would say a mosquito bit me, or some other insect, biting insect, whatever. A horsefly bit me, like bite. But a bee or a wasp would sting me, or even a stingray in the ocean would sting me, or a jellyfish. We say a jellyfish stung me. So we use this verb to talk about some animals. Even the jellyfish is the one, technically it doesn't really have a stinger. It has tentacles, but the pain feels like a sting. So anyway, we tend to use that. Okay, we're gonna now do a little mix and match with some really badly drawn pictures. All right, Diego, I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna scroll up here. Please read the sentence and see if you can pick the picture that matches the sentence. All right, Diego, go ahead.
Yes, I've broken my arm.
Okay, which picture would best match? I've broken my arm.
I think it's the letter H.
Letter H? This one?
Yes.
Mm,
Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry.
don't think so.
J. J.
J. Well, there is no J. Oh, it looks kind of like a J. You mean I?
Maybe D.
Okay. This person has bandages on their arm. This person has a cast. All right? A solid plaster cast. Okay. Knock, knock, knock. You see? Okay. So Diego, it's going to be I, this one. when you have a broken bone, they give you a cast. Well, depending on the part of the body.
Okay.
Yeah, they give you a cast to keep the bones in place so they can heal. Or a verb in English we use for bones specifically, so your bones can knit. Just like you knit. This verb to knit also is used to talk about the healing of bones. You want your bones to knit, so they set. First of all, they have to set the bones, put them in the proper place, and then they give you a cast. Okay, so broke your arm. Okay, Carlos, number 2.
I I've sprained my wrist.
All right, where would that be?
Letter D.
Yeah. Okay, sprained your wrist. You may bandage it, or you may put some kind of. They put those plastic things on your wrist or your ankle, also to immobilize it. But they don't give you a cast for a sprain. A sprain is going to heal much faster, of course, than a broken bone. Okay. Again, like Carlos pointed out. Oh. To describe the action, I twisted my ankle, I twisted my wrist, basically means the same thing as sprain. All right, Heidi, number 3.
I cut my thumb. B.
What is he doing there? Goodness. Okay.
Licking his blood.
Licking his blood. Perhaps he's a vampire. I don't know. Can't really tell if that's his thumb or somebody else's thumb as well. Okay. All right. Cut my thumb. All right. That's pretty simple. All right. I think we can zip through these here. Francisco, number 4.
Okay, I burned my hand.
Okay.
Okay, F.
Which badly drawn pictures that? Yeah, these are supposed to be flames here. What is he holding here? I have no idea.
Maybe some matches.
Is that what that is? I really don't know.
I don't know.
No idea. But of course, heat burns you. Have you ever burnt yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Who hasn't? Really, steam is the worst. I'd rather be burnt with flame than steam. All right, pretty straightforward, pretty obvious what that is. All right, moving on. Juan Pablo, number 5. Juan Pablo, hello? Suddenly I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I've got a nosebleed.
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 Yep.
Sorry. Thank you.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. Which one is that?
Letter A.
Letter A. Okay, yeah. Little drops of blood. You ever have a nosebleed? Juan Pablo?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Have you ever had a nosebleed?
Oh, yeah, playing football.
There you go. What is the first aid for a nosebleed?
First aid.
Yeah, what do you do for a nosebleed? When you get a nosebleed, do you shake your head violently? Do you stick your head underwater? Do you...
Yes, trying to clean my head with water.
Okay, well, actually, that's probably not a good idea. You should hold your nose and tilt your head back. Okay? That's the first aid. I wanted to introduce the idea of first aid. When somebody is wounded or injured, you apply first aid. Obviously, if they're bleeding, you stop the bleeding. first and foremost. Later in the hospital, the doctors will do other things. They'll sew up the wound, they'll medicate, whatever. First aid is what you do in the first few seconds of an injury, is referred to in English as first aid. And the verb, apply. You apply first aid. Okay, that's the action of doing whatever you're going to do. Okay. All right. Sam, number 6.
I hit my head.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this here, I think.
C? No.
No, 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 no. E, sorry.
E, yeah, he's got something there.
Yes.
Whack in his head. Okay, can you think of any other ways to say I hit my head? This is the most simple, casual way, but really, there's a lot of ways to say this in English. Can you think of any others?
Okay. Use hit, right? Hit.
Instead of hit.
Instead of it, okay. Okay. Can I say that strike?
Okay.
Yes, I strike my head.
That in past tense would be struck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I whacked my head. I wrote some other verb choices, and I'm sure there's many more. I whacked my head. I knocked my head. I struck my head. Strike. I bumped my head. Yeah.
These all are formal or informal.
No, they're all informal. What's the difference? Hit is very general. If you use hit, again, it's the most basic verb. I don't know with what force or how hard you hit your head. It's too general. It's very vague. However, if you say you whacked your head or knocked your head, that means you hit your head pretty hard. If you bumped your head, not very much. If you bump another car, you bump into somebody, it's very little injury involved, very little pain involved. Okay? So they have different degrees of severity. All right?
Yes.
Whacked is pretty hard. Oh my gosh, I whacked my head on the top of the door. I have such a headache now.
On wall.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Whacked, smacked. Yeah. Okay. What's the difference if I say I crashed my head into the wall?
It might be bleeding come your head.
No. If I bumped my head on the wall or knocked my head on the wall or whacked my head, that means I didn't notice the wall was there and I hit my head. If I say I crashed my head into the wall, that means I dove forward with my head purposefully, on purpose. I meant to hit my head into the wall. Okay?
Okay.
Which would be pretty stupid of me, but okay.
Okay.
People have done dumber things, that's for sure. Okay. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me just get that back there. We'll continue. Okay. Diego, number 7.
I got an electric shock.
What is that?
I can't see the letter.
Okay. Well, can you describe where it is? Upper right-hand corner, lower left-hand corner, the middle picture?
It's in the left. Down. And H.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. G.
Okay. Lower.
Down, yes.
Yeah, we don't say down when we're describing direction like this. Lower. Lower left-hand corner. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And why do you? And you're right, but why do you say that? Which shows the person has electrical shock.
Because I can see the cable.
Okay.
the person is in shock.
Is in shock. Okay, now, all
Yeah,
right.
simple.
All right. Okay. The person is in shock. If you just said that and I didn't know what had happened, I would say the person is surprised and emotionally unable to function. Okay, I was shocked to hear the news about the president. Like that. That has nothing to do with electricity, obviously. So shock, you have to be careful because it's very often commonly used to indicate an emotion, right? Surprise, extreme surprise. Okay, and
All
shock
right.
can mean electricity. Okay, you said the cable. I want to clarify something else. I guess this is supposed to be a light bulb. At first, this looked like a broom to me. It's so poorly drawn, but in any case, this is supposed to be a light bulb. This would then probably in English be a wire. The wire is broken. Electrical cords, also called cords, if they're wrapped in plastic wires, they're called cords. So we have wire. Okay, the cord is broken. Really, the wire is the metal part that conducts electricity inside. A cable is a very thick one, like you see outside on the street or buried underground. Wire and cable are the same thing, but wires are generally smaller and cables are generally a bigger one. Okay.
Those are the same meaning?
Wire, cable,
Yes.
yes, but when I think of a cable in my mind, it's a thick one. You know, a wire's thin, and a
All
cable's
right.
very thick, like cable television. All right, the
Yes.
cable that comes into your house, well, it's much thinner now than it used to be. But when cable TV first started, it was really fat and thick. And when you talk about the wires that are on towers going through the countryside, those are cables, electric cables. They're thick. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
Also, one other detail here, the person's hair is standing on end. Here's an interesting phrase, standing on end. Now, someone's hair can stand on end because they're getting an electric shock. That electricity causes your hair to stand up. Or it could be because they're very frightened. But, yeah, okay. Okay, Carlos. Number 8. Actually, I'm gonna zip through these because we talked about these quite a bit. Number 8. I got stung by a bee. Here's the bee in letter C. I twisted my ankle. This is your ankle. Okay, never mind that. Let's look at a new exercise. Start off with a new. Ooh, okay, because I want to talk about wounds and injuries. This is a little complicated. Much like illness or symptoms of illness with ache and sore and pain, it's a little confusing. You have a toothache, a headache, a stomach ache, an earache, but your shoulder is sore, your elbow is sore, my knee is sore, my ankle is sore. You do not have an ankle ache, a knee ache. So it's a little complicated. Same thing really with injury and wounds. So let's see if we can figure it out. I think the best way is to look at examples. Carlos, which one would you say he's been injured and which one would you say he's been wounded?
I think he's been injured, the second one, and he's been wounded, the first one.
Okay. Why? I agree.
Because I think because wounded refers to bleed, to using uh, knives.
Mm. Okay.
or bleeding too much.
Well, okay, you're right. Wounded refers to you have an injury, some physical not right thing. You have an injury because something acts upon you. He's been injured is kind of a more passive idea. Okay. Right. Okay. If you're injured, okay. For example, if you're injured in the war, you're a soldier and you're injured in the war, maybe you fell off a tank. Maybe a tree fell on you as you're walking through the forest. No one was attacking you. If you're wounded in the war, that means some agent was actively harming you, if that
Okay.
makes sense. It's a little hard to figure out, but okay, let's look at some collocations. This is a
Okay.
common mistake, so all right, let's try again here. Heidi, is it injured, verb, past tense, injury, the noun, wound, the noun, wounded, past tense? Which fits best?
It's a quite deep wound. You probably need stitches. I'll take you to the hospital.
Okay. We also generally use wound for cuts.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, that's another kind of aspect. All right, and you're absolutely correct. What are stitches?
Stitches like sewing.
Like exactly.
Sewing on your skin.
That's exactly right. The doctor might refer to them as sutures, or the verb to suture, but most normal humans say stitches. Have you ever had stitches? Yeah, I had 10 stitches in my hand, like that. Yeah, okay, so here you're right. Deep wound, by the way, this adjective collocates deep wound. You would never say deep injury. That sounds really weird. This is very common. A deep wound, or the opposite, a shallow wound. Okay. All right, so very good. Francisco.
Can we say light
Yeah.
wound? Light, no.
Light,
Only shallow.
light wound. No, it's a light wound. I mean, I would understand what you're saying, but yeah, you can say that. I'm sorry. Light wounds, heavy wounds. He sustained heavy wounds. Yeah, okay. Slightly wounded. Yeah, would be heavily wounded. Would be actually common. Yeah, you can say that does collocate, but very often what threw me off is it's very common to use the adverb slightly wounded or heavily wounded. Yeah, okay. Thanks for pointing that out. Francisco, number 2.
Okay, number 2, Venus Williams was unable to finish her match because of a shoulder injury.
Injury. Okay.
Injury, okay.
Injury. Yeah. We wouldn't say a wound because I'm assuming that nobody cut Venus Williams or shot her. Hopefully not. We often use injury as well when we don't know exactly what it is. See, this is very vague. We don't know what the nature of this, what is it? Did she sprain her shoulder? Did she pull a muscle? Did she bruise it by running into the net? We don't know. Okay, so, all right, there's another aspect. Juan Pablo, number 3.
Okay, my granddad was injured in the war. He got a shot in the leg.
Well, he was shot in the leg. Especially in war and soldiers, we use the terms wounded. So I would past tense, he was wounded. Passive, verb to be. The action happened to him in a passive sentence here. He was wounded. Okay?
Okay.
Whenever you're talking about human beings committing violence to other human beings, that's a wound, for sure. You can be sure of that. Okay. All right, when we're concerned more with the action, we as in getting shot, we're definitely going to say wound. I can, if I'm the doctor and I'm looking at your granddad's leg, I'm saying okay, the injury occurred on the upper portion of the leg. I'm concerned with the actual cut in his skin and the bleeding and so forth. But I would still probably say the wound was on the upper leg, even in such a case. Generally, the idea of wound is you're concerned more with the action that happened, that caused it. And generally, injury, the fact that it's pain, wrong, what it is. Sam, number 4.
There was a train crash in London this morning. Several people are seriously injured.
Yes. Okay. So they may have different kinds of wounds: burns, broken bones, bruises. All right. This kind of general way, you would definitely say injured. Okay. So just to clarify one more time, finish up the class. What collocates with injury, and which collocates or goes with wound? So using them as kind of an adjective. Diego, slight.
Yes.
Okay. Does slight go with injury or with wound?
I think it is with injury.
No, actually, no. Actually, wound. Slightly. It's often you hear slightly wounded. Okay, or severely wounded is another one for a bad one. Okay. All right, wound definitely would be better. Carlos.
Right.
Carlos. Knife.
Yes, knife, wound.
Knife wound. Yes, definitely those go together. Knife injury. It's possible to say he injured himself. He injured himself while he was cleaning a knife. Something like that you may hear. Now I'm really concerned with the injury, not the action that he did. You see, but usually we associate knife and wound. Heidi, internal.
Internal injury.
Yes. Again, because we don't know exactly what it is or where it is. Again, you can think of it that way. Internal injuries. He died of internal injuries. Okay. Very good. Francisco, deep.
Wound.
Yes. Again, wound we associate with cuts. All right. A deep wound would be a deep cut. It goes far into the skin is the idea. A shallow wound is like a cat scratches you. That's a shallow wound. It's okay. It is a cut, but it doesn't. It only goes through a layer or two of skin. Right. Juan Pablo, bullet.
A bullet is related with a wound.
Definitely. All right. There's definitely some malevolence. Some. Yeah. No doubt. Okay. Sam, back.
Injury.
Okay. Back injury. Okay. There's no cut in the skin. There's no blood. Back injury. Very good. Diego, sports.
Yeah, okay, I'll try sports. I think it's injury.
It is injury, and in English newspapers, like you can see that baseball players or basketball players are on the injury reserve. They have the injury list. Yeah, right.
Okay.
So lots of terminologies and collocations related to sports with injury. Absolutely. And last one, okay, stab, that's the action that you do with a knife, or I could stab you in the eye with a pencil. I would never do that, of course. So obviously this one would go with wound, a stab wound. A stab wound and a knife wound would be the same thing. A stab wound could be a spear, a sword, a toothpick, a knitting needle, anything that's sharp that can penetrate the skin. And that's it. I've actually gone over time, as I often do. And if you can join me for the next class, we'll actually have conversations about our various war wounds and practice some of what we learned in this class. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Thank you, everyone.